And welcome everyone. This is a technical workshop. We wanted to tailor make this according to what you want to learn, and we also have some basics to cover in. With that being said, Mark and Ovidio will be leading the session for us. Let's just get straight into it. Over to you, Mark.
Yeah, thanks, Zane. Thanks, guys. So we are recording the session and then we'll make it available later on also to the other participants. So what we'll do today, guys, is we'll cover like probably a very comprehensive overview of Ethereum, right? Because it can be a bit complicated what Ethereum is. Like when you hear us talk about it, it's always like we talk about data ownership and all these things. It's like, okay, what the heck are these guys doing? So we are going to like condense it. These are the exact products we have. These are the tools you can use, and this is how it's going to help you in your project. So this is kind of the agenda. I'll talk about data NFTs and the different types of data NFTs and their use cases. I'll show you where you can get good documentation. Damien will then jump in, show you what the data DEX does, what Itheum Enterprise does. He will then show you what Itheum Explorer does and how that fits into the ecosystem. Talk about Data NFT SDK, the Enterprise SDK, the Data Marshal SDK, and also data storage, right? So how we could store your data. The idea is we'll give you the big sort of pieces, then you'll see how it all fits together, and then we will help you over the next week or two if you want to deep dive into anything. Feel free to stop me anywhere to ask me any questions. All right. So with that, I'll jump in and we'll talk about the data NFT types. Before I do that, right? So you guys all know what NFTs are. Now let's imagine if you want to just mint your own NFT collection. So here I'm on Frame.it. Frame.it provides you this tool, right, where you can just go, you can connect your wallet, pick your storage, and you mint your own NFT collection. So we're all familiar with this, right? But what you might not know, Frame.it also provides you some other tools. Like, for example, it lets you launch a collection, or it provides you a distributor where you already have an NFT collection. You can put it in there, and you can distribute it. So I think this is like a candy machine type launch. This is a bit more like randomized of a previous collection. So the reason I'm telling you all this is because Ethereum is nothing more than an NFT platform, just like Frame.it or Soxno or whatever. It lets you launch NFT collections. The key difference is you can attach data to an NFT. So it's not an NFT, it's a data NFT. So you can launch a data NFT collection just like you would with any of these other NFT marketplaces and infrastructure. So that's Ethereum in a nutshell. Now, the second part of this is to understand the three types of NFTs that you can launch using Ethereum infrastructure. So that is what we're going to talk about now, right? So I'll just zoom in a little bit, maybe. So the first type is called Data NFT FT. FT stands for fully transferable. These are basically SFTs, right? So they're like data SFTs. Now, this is what you see today. So if you go to Frame.it, and if you go to Data NFT, you see this collection here. These are data NFT FTs. So they are, each one of these is an SFT. If you go to Data DEX, it's a lot more clearer. And if you go to the marketplace, you can see we've got these data NFT FT collections. Each one of these is an SFT collection, right? Now, these are used for a specific use case. Like, for example, they're not because SFTs, they're not meant for anything like super sensitive. You can attach some data to it, but something that you're happy to share, right? Nothing that's too sensitive. Good use cases for this is a musician minting music, because they can mint one playlist of the songs as an SFT collection and then distribute it. In fact, that's what we have here. Like the best performing data NFT on Ethereum is Manu's music album. You can be an author publishing a book. That's what we've got here. Here. You could be some sort of analyst who's doing some sort of data analysis. That's what we've got with eGold, with the bubble map, and so on. Or you could publish, AI models, training data. So Loki, this would be something, I guess, what you would publish. You're publishing 3D models or algorithms that produce 3D models. So I'm guessing this is kind of where you would fit in, but we'll talk about it later on.
Mm-hmm.
The second type is called data NFT lease. Now, these are actual NFTs. So these are data SFTs. These are actual NFTs like you would see on Frame.it and so on, like regular NFT collections. You can control it. You can put your own images. You can do whatever you can with an existing NFT collection, but you can attach data to it. These are a lot more powerful because, as Ovidio will show you, the tooling that we provide for data NFT lease. Now, you will mention sometimes we talk about Itheum Enterprise. Itheum Enterprise is nothing more than a UI or a management console on top of this data NFT collection, data NFT lease. Now, they're a lot more powerful, so they let you do things like, CVs, like gamer CVs or gamer passports. You can build entire loyalty cards on top of this. Inspire 3, part of this program, they have actually already launched their loyalty card on DevNet using Itheum Enterprise and Data NFT Leads. It's being used in the real world under private beta. You can launch like a sort of a quest platform using it, or you can build like data vaults, data sharing tools, and sort of sovereign identity platforms. So that's data NFT lease. Now I'm guessing if you look at maybe Khalilio, maybe you guys, when you launch your app, and we go to like dive into it a little bit more, you would launch a data NFT lease collection through Itheum Enterprise. And I don't know, was there a question? Maybe someone please interrupt me. If you guys have a question, just interrupt me.
Yeah, sorry, Mark. I have a question. I just want to know with your NFT marketplace. So, are there any advantages to using the Itheum NFT marketplace to buy and trade data NFTs over using, for example, XONO or Frame.it? Like, why would people want to be looking at the Itheum marketplace rather than the ones that are already existing and have a pretty good user base?
Yeah, sure. So the data NFTs that are coming out of Itheum are also available in all the other marketplaces. The value that we provide is we have I'll show you. So for example, if you're interested in this music album, you can view the collection. You can actually, before you buy it, you can get this validation that the data is actually up and available. This tooling, for example, is not available in Soxno or Frame.it, where you don't get this visibility on if are you buying a collection that has data attached to it, or has the data been rugged, or you don't know that. So we are not like we're not like probably competing with the other marketplaces. We like to provide a familiar marketplace experience, but with sort of extra tooling like this that probably protects you when you're procuring data, if that makes sense.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah.
There could also be a potential reason to use it as a creator, in the sense that you use our smart contracts to create your NFTs whenever you create them, and other marketplaces don't have implemented the custom data structures that data NFTs use, which means that for other marketplaces, when they look up, they're like, oh, who's the creator? Oh, of this NFT, Itheum, and they basically send the royalties to us. And we are distributing them once in a while to the actual good creators, but then you have to wait until we do so. If you use our own marketplace, we have our own data structure, and we look, okay, who's the creator? Not Itheum, but rather through Itheum, Ryan has actually created this NFT, and we automatically send them on the spot when the transaction is made to you as a creator.
That's a great feature. Thank you.
Yeah. But the ultimate goal, guys, is that when you use Itheum, it'll be very familiar to you because it should look like all the other marketplaces. But it's got these additional features that are geared towards a data marketplace on top of an NFT marketplace. Okay, so we talked about data NFT FTs, which are data SFTs. We talked about data NFT lease, which is part of Itheum Enterprise. And there's only one more class of data NFTs left, and this is quite new. We launched this about 3 weeks ago. This is data NFT PH, and PH stands for plugin hybrid. These are really unique, right? These are regular NFT collections. So it could be somebody minting on their own platforms. They want full control of the NFT. but they want to make it compatible with entire Ethereum ecosystems tooling for data NFTs. So you could use it in our DEX, you could use it in our Explorer. They are plug and play with all our SDKs. You can build apps on top of them. So this is basically a regular NFT collection for a normal community, but they do slight alterations to the metadata on that to make them data NFT compatible. So we are working with a really interesting project right now. I can't mention it because it's not a done deal yet, but when they launch, there would be a regular NFT collection, but they'll have data NFT plugin capability. So they plug into the Ethereum ecosystem and have some cool data stuff happening. These are the three classes. So just think of it. Each one of you as a project would probably pick one of these classes, or you might pick a combination of these classes, and then you use our tooling to launch those classes or mint those classes and go on. So that's the first part, guys, just the three NFTs. I know there's quite a lot, but I think now we will kind of dive into the specific components. And like I said, any questions, drop it in the chat, or even just wait till the end if you want to ask me a bunch of stuff, or just, on Telegram, just reach out to us on Telegram. So the second one I will cover real quick, and then I'll hand it to Ovidio to do the interesting stuff, is the documentation. So you guys saw we were on the document portal. We try to follow the principle of writing guides. So another way to explain it, you come to documentation. First, you get like an overarching, these are the different products, and you can kind of understand what they are. Then you can see how you could integrate at a first level into Ethereum. What wallets do you need? Like, what can you do with the data DEX? What you can do on the Multiverse X data DEX? How do you get started with Itheum Enterprise? So they all follow like a guide format. So you can just follow it step by step. We begin with like a user story, and like, this is what you're trying to achieve. Okay, now let's go and achieve it together. So we follow this whole format. Even with our SDKs, if you look at our data NFT SDK, for example, we show you, hey, do you want to like launch a music collection? Here's an example of it, how you can use SDK to launch a music collection. And we have a user story, and then we achieve the user story together. So I really encourage you guys to like jump into the documentation and get started with like building some guides, following some guides and building it. So yep, that's pretty much it, guys. I'll hand it over now to Ovidio, who's going to like probably go into some more interesting stuff. So Ovidio, over to you, man. Oh, I think
I had my mic off. Yeah. My bad. Yeah. So sure thing. I'll take it from here. So as a note, what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go, as Mark has shown on the screen. I'm going to go through everything that we basically have available for you in terms of SDKs, user interfaces, smart contracts that you can use, and all that. What I want you to know is that at any point when you feel like you have a question, feel free to virtually raise your hand and I'll take it. If you feel like you have questions that are not SDK specific but are rather opinionated questions, you can either ask them now, but I somehow would suggest, if they're completely applied on your project, to maybe ask me in private, just so that I can give detailed answers without basically making everyone wait for us 10 minutes until I go into the details of why you should use X, Y, Z or something like this. Obviously, I would answer them in public as well. There's not an issue in any way. It's just that we want to be time efficient. All right. Let me share my screen real quick, and we can go through all the stuff that we have to go. Good. So first thing that I want to show you guys is, 1 second, is obviously the data DEX. So first of all, what you should know is that on test.datadex.etheum.io, if you didn't know yet, you can use this to basically play around the data DEX on the DevNet, which also means that sometimes this can be a bit unstable because we're releasing new stuff on this before we go to mainnet, obviously. And you can even see that if you look here, this is 1.11.0, while on DataDex, you can see we're at 1.10.5 at this point. So the testing environment is a bit ahead, but that's not an issue in itself. So let's first look at everything there is here. So I'm going to go through some quick stuff that you have at your disposition. First of all, on DevNet, you don't have to get whitelisted for now in any way to mint an NFT. So you can just use the form here. You can use the form here with your links and your data, but if you just want to mint something quick and fast, just for the sake of it, they're like, okay, I want to mint something real quick just to test it out and stuff, you can use the Sony PlayStation Data Passport demo, and if you use it, you basically get some pre-completed data links and descriptions and stuff here that you can use. And obviously, these are mock data, but here it is. Just as a fun fact, this is mock data that was taken at some point. You see from or something May 2023 or something from my PlayStation account. So I actually did play Little Nightmares 2, Bloodborne, Cult of the Lamb, Detroit Become Human, and all that. But the point is, you can easily mint something in 1 second by doing this. So basically, what you want to do is click on this. Once you're logged in, boom, boom. I put 2% royalties. I want to create 7 NFTs, and I can mint my Data NFT, and we wait a bit for all that's there to be. Okay, all good. Now, boom. Okay, we can see the transaction on the blockchain. You can see how what operations it's doing. You can see it creating the SFT with the desired characteristics. It was created with 2% royalties. I put it and supply 7, all that. It's got the image, the metadata, all that. So that's basically the fastest way to mint a data NFT if you want to do it quick, fast, no technical skills needed from this point of view. All right, good. After you mint one, you have to wait a bit until you mint the next one. So I think it's about 30 seconds or 1 minute or something like this. Don't remember it by heart, but yeah, this is to avoid spamming. Good. After you have minted your Data NFT, you can just go and you can see here is my new Data NFT. You can look at it. You can see the details of it. You can list it. You can preview the data in it. You can view the data in it. Whenever we want to view data, we wait for the data stream to be unlocked and stuff. And boom, the data is downloaded as a JSON. If it's an image, the data will download it as an image. If it's an MP4, it will download it as an MP4, and so on. I can also list the NFT. We're waiting so that the DataDex checks if my data is live. It is. So I'm listing it. We wait a bit for the listing to happen. Already happened. Boom. It's listed. Also, as a quick suggestion, if you are an impatient developer, whenever you test stuff, you can make sure you use a wallet that's on Shard1. This will make transactions go faster. If you're on Shard2, Shard0, transactions will take around 20, 30 seconds to finish. If you're on Shard1, because our contract is also on Shard1. So as you can see here, our contract is also on Shard1. You can basically expect transactions to take up to 6 seconds and be done if you're using same shard wallet. Good. This is one thing. Once it has been put up here, we have the market where we have the grouped up NFTs here, and here is my listed NFT. In the marketplace, these are this is the grouped view where you can see if, for example, if I list my NFT and I have sent one to Dense and he lists one as well, they will show up under the same thing here. And when I see view data collection, the other listings that are above the floor price will be shown here. Let me show you on mainnet. It's more intuitive. Okay, so here you can see, for example, we have the floor price for each of the NFTs, and when one clicks on view data NFT collection, you can see here the offers that are above the floor price. So you can see for Fodress Eagle Bubble Map, the floor price at $49.98, which is $1. But once this is bought, the floor price jumps to $229, then to $698, and so on. If you don't want to see it like this and you want to see everything as individual offers, you can just do this. Show all offers, and you have all the offers here separately. Here is the latest offer, which was mine. And I don't have a button to purchase it because it is mine, and the transaction would fail because I can buy for myself. But the others do have it because it did not list them. All right. And what you should also know is that all the code for the data DEX is open source. And if you want to do anything that is like a white label data DEX, or you want to get use our code to build on top of it and stuff like that, you can easily do it using the data DEX code. And you can see different stuff around here. The main branch is always connected to datadex.itheum.io. If you want to see what's on test, you can on test.datadex.io is always what's here. All right. This is about the DataDex. Now also on the DataDex, but not yet accessible through the menus to say so, is if I go here and I click and I enter /enterprise, is another interface that is nice and you can use. Basically, for example, here you won't have any contracts to see, but then you can just select a version. I suggest version 3 because as we're on DevNet, we just sometimes roll out new versions with new features because it's easy to do that while on DevNet, but version 3 is the most stable. I can deploy my new minter. And once I have deployed my new minter, I can click on it. And first things first, I have to select my collection name. All right. You can also require a text to mint if you want to have like a public mint, or you can mint all the NFTs yourself, then use a candy machine contract to basically sell them and stuff like that. But I'm launching it. I'm initializing the contract. It's pending, but this transaction will take a while because it has to also create a collection, which means to interact with another shard. Also, as Mark said, on top of the DataDex code, You can also use the Data NFT SDK if you want to build stuff based on Data NFT, so you don't build the code by hand, to say so. And I'll also show that. But until then, all right, we're done. The collection has been created, and here I can do all sorts of stuff about my collection. These are all available in the Enterprise SDK, but we'll get there. So you can claim your royalties if your collection has been traded. You can unpause your minter contract or pause your minter contract. You can make your collection transferable. So by default, your collection is made soulbound, but you can make it so that people can trade it around or transfer it around. You can add an address to only allow transfers to that address if you want to keep it, to say so, semi-soulbound. You can add addresses to whitelist to mint. You can change the address that's used to claim the royalties. You can also mint on-demand data NFTs. Like if you want to mint an NFT from this interface to test some stuff, you can use this interface to put in the name, the title, the description, and so on. And here you can see all your NFTs, and you can do different stuff to these NFTs if you have them created. You can freeze those NFTs, you can wipe them, stuff like that. It's basically a collection management UI. All right. This is it on short from the enterprise side. Do you have any questions up until now, or something that you're curious about, something that's not completely clear? All right. If not yet, we'll go through with it. The same as for the data decks, we have the explorer.etm.io, which this is on mainnet, but in the same way, if you put test in front of it, you can go to DevNet, where we have multiple stuff here. Yeah, Ryan.
Hey, so I have a quick question. So it seems like the NFTs that you're creating, they all have this this generalized kind of AI generated image that people see when they go on your marketplace. I'm just wondering, is there a way that's coming or right now where I could actually have like my own kind of picture that people see? Like for example, in this screen right now, like I noticed the Trailblazer, like they have a picture of just some generic thing, but is there any way where I can have a display of my own image
Yes.
or that data in the NFT rather than that?
Yes, absolutely. So good question, but yeah, it's doable. So in order to make the process as fast as possible for a possible creator, in the UI, we have made it so we generate images for you. So based on the link you're using, an image is auto-generated, but you can also use your own images if you use the SDK.
Perfect. I just wanted to make sure that was an option because the ones you kept creating were the auto-generated image. I wanted to make sure that like I could have my own picture there for people to see in the marketplace.
Yeah, I'll make sure that to show you when I get to the SDK to show you the methods used to mint an NFT, and I'll show you there where you put your link.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
No worries. Yes. We have other questions.
Yeah, answering the same thing. Is there a specific format that are accepted into the image format, or is it
not
it should be
not
PNG?
really?
Not really.
So we don't have any extra restrictions, but we support all types of media that are supported anyway by Multiverse X NFTs. And here's the supported media types: PNG, JPEG, GIF, WebP, SFG, also audio files, video files. So we don't have any extra restriction on top of that. To make sure it's easy for you to find it, I'll just put a link here.
Yeah, I know where it is. Yeah.
Good. All right.
Good.
Is that all? Yeah, we have another question.
Hey, Damien. So I have a question regarding the description in the data NFT.
Yeah.
So, mostly related to the ownership of it. So is it that the creator can once create it and we can restrict like the other owners to not edit the description? Can we do that?
And so you want to not set a description, from what I understand?
So when we create the data NFT, we want to create a description, and we should not allow other owners. So if any other owners of the data NFT buys it, we should not allow them to edit it. Is that possible?
Not allow the description to read the description.
Yeah, I think I understand.
Do you want to answer this one?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So Satish, you're saying, okay, you minted one and you put the on-chain description, and now it's been sold, and there's a new owner, and you don't want them to edit the description. Yeah, they can't mint. So when you mint it, you put the description. Think of it as a default description that we put on-chain, and then that cannot be edited. It's like what you see on screen now. You can see the description underneath the NFT title. This is like a default description. But to be honest, right, like you can build something on top of it, like an API that lets people update the description if you want to. It's just that this is like an on-chain description. You mint it, you put the on-chain description, and you cannot edit it. It's like the last, think of it as defaults, right? That makes sense?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, so in a nutshell, as Mark said, nobody can update the description in itself, but others can read that description. All right. Do we have any other questions, or shall I move on? Okay, I will move on. So in the Explorer, we have multiple data widgets, which basically the data widgets are specialized way to view data. In data widgets, basically what we've done is that we have specific data NFTs that we know they return data in a way we are expecting. And because of that, we are visualizing that data in a nice way. So for example, we have this Trailblazer NFT. Wait, I will show you on mainnet because there I know for sure what NFTs I have and what I don't. So basically, for example, here with the Trailblazer, actually, wait, I don't have the Trailblazer. Okay, yeah, I don't have the Trailblazer on. So I don't have the Trailblazer right now to show you, but for example, the Trailblazer can be seen in a specific way. It's like it's kind of like a timeline in which people can see what we've put in it. The bubbles can also be seen. All good with the bubbles. All good with the bubbles. Okay. I click on view data. We wait a bit to see it, and basically we're seeing the bubbles in a specific way. But you can see, so this is the data visualization. I'll take the questions soon, 1 second. But if I want to see the data, if I want to download the data in a raw format, that is very much doable on DataDex. Because on DataDex, we don't have any specialized viewing data. We're just returning the raw data. If I click on view data on DataDex, you will see that this data is downloaded, which is basically the SVG. But here what we have extra is the capability of opening in the full screen, zooming in, zooming out, all that. Yeah, we've got the question.
Yeah, it's concerning the Trailblazer actually. Yeah, indeed. In fact, in the Explorer, you have you're forking the different views that you can have on a JSON file. This is how it works, huh? So it's a JSON file behind.
Not necessarily. it's some type of file. Some are JSON, some are not. But in this case, you can see the data is an SVG, not a JSON.
It's an SVG.
Yeah.
But in the Trailblazer case, it's a JSON file, which is...
Yeah. It's a JSON file, as far as I remember. And what's happening is that we're seeing from that JSON file, we take each entry, and depending on categories, we have different stuff. Let me see if there isn't, if I can buy this from the marketplace. Yeah, I can. So if we go on the marketplace, I'll just purchase one right now. And I'll show you how the Trailblazer is shown. Okay, cool. Bought it, and now I will refresh it, and I can view the Trailblazer. Okay, so basically we have all these entries. Boom. And possible secret quests, leaderboards that are only accessible to different people, stuff like that. All right. I can also filter to only see different stuff if it's available. Okay, if I only want to see quests, I can see them, all that. Good stuff. Okay, so this is about data widgets. We also have NFTunes, which has this cool new landing page on test. And if one wants, they can basically view this data if they have the NFT. I only have Manos NFT on mainnet, but I can show it. It's got 2 songs in it. We're waiting a bit for it to load. You can hear the sound. Can you? No. Okay. Well, yes, you have to buy the NFT to listen to Manos songs. Can I do it so I share the sound? If I share my
if you share a tab with sound, you share one tab, not the whole screen.
Cool. Yeah. Let me try that. Chrome tab.
But I think you can preview the data and.
Okay. Okay. Presentation audio, all that.
Welcome to NFTs.
All right, we won't listen to it all, but you get a point. Now, what's also important to note is if I would go to the data DEX, I won't do it once again, but if I go to the data DEX, I wouldn't get Manos songs, but I would get raw data, which in this case, actually, let me try again. If I click on view data here, what I'm getting is this. 1 second. What I'm getting is just the JSON. One second. For some reason. Okay, so what I'm getting if I open it is this. It's basically getting data about his songs and stuff that he can always update by updating this file itself. But I don't get the songs themselves. Okay.
Yeah, just a quick note on that. Ovidio, just open the JSON man. You will notice, guys, that you even though you were able to get the raw JSON, you can't see his actual music. His music is abstracted, it's hidden away. So even if somebody buys a data NFT, then copies this, and if they give it to somebody else, you can't listen to the music. So this feature is called nested streams, where you can protect private data assets inside a main data stream. And that's what how the music player is built. It's built using nested streams. There's a guide on our documentation.
MP3s. Yes, we have one more question.
Yeah. On the nested stream matter, can you explain exactly, maybe later, more in detail how it works exactly? Because I'm not familiar with this.
Yes, but I think
it must be in the doc, but this is something I haven't touched on in the documentation.
I think it is in the docs. Let me search for it and see if I find it. Data stream guides.
It's on the chat. Just have a look at the chat. There's a detailed guide on how you can mint a nested string.
Yeah, and it's explaining different stuff about it. Basically, it's explaining exactly how the music playlist NFT is created using the data streams. How you configure it, how you create it. You see that basically normally in the
I have to read it, yeah.
Normally in the stream itself, when you create a JSON file, you have a file here that's actually the music. But when the Marshal gets it, fetches the data, it knows because of the flag above that it's a nested stream, and it gets that file out, so it doesn't send the file itself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I think the best course of action specifically on nested streams, because the way they work is, I'd say, this pretty in-depth, is to first read the doc on it, to get the in-depth picture, and whatever questions you've got, come back with them, just so that we don't stay a lot about the technical implementation, because some people might not be curious about it, in the sense that here's how I've shown you what it is. It works out of the box. If you don't care about the in-depth implementation, you can just use it. But if you're curious about it, you can read that all and understand it. All right.
Understood. Thanks.
No worries. And we've got the data widgets on the Explorer, and besides the data widgets themselves, we also have my listed data NFTs, where you can see what you have listed on the marketplace. But I didn't list anything. I'm not selling my data NFTs. And I've got my wallet where I can see the data NFTs. And what's cool about the wallet themselves is that you can view data. And here we've got like an in-between between what's happening on DataDex and what's happening in data widgets. So on the DataDex, you download the raw file. In data widgets, we process that file and do something with it. But what we do in my wallet is that we are showing the raw file in line, but in order to ensure security, because we're kind of opening the file, we first sanitize the file. So we're basically, you can see here, it's written, for your protection, this content has been automatically filtered locally in your browser for potential common security risks. Yes, we've got a question.
Do you have an SDK for this? Is this pop up in an SDK or something, or does it need to be implemented by its own?
One sec. So the whole pop-up is not available through an SDK itself, because it's a pretty rough implementation, I'd say, but it's open source and you can basically get it from the Explorer. But okay. One more important thing is, if you don't want everything, but you want a quick sanitization of files that we're using here, what we're using for it is this package, which is kind of the standard to sanitize HTML and XML files. So they don't contain harmful JavaScript. But 1 second, so I show you where you can find So if we go to my wallet, okay, that's pretty much here. I've sent it in the chat. All right. Good. All right. So this is for the Explorer.
Just a quick note on Explorer, guys. So if you go to data widgets, the data widgets, think of it as a marketplace for data widgets, right? We built all of these, but it's actually public. So people can build it and like raise a pull request and it'll appear in here. So if any of your projects, you guys build like a really cool data NFT collection and you want to like put like a viewer, you can just, raise a pull request and the widget would appear here. This is another way to get people to like try your data NFT before they go and buy it in the marketplace. So think of it as a marketplace for like light data visualizations. It's all open source, public. All you need to do is raise a pull request. There's like an easy framework to build widgets. You can have a look at it, and they appear here on mainnet.
Yeah, and the cool thing about it is if you build your data widget and make a PR and it gets to the Explorer is already in the Exporter Hub. So basically that's an easy way to get to everybody that has an Exporter wallet, and they can easily see the data from the Exporter Hub, and until you can or want to make your own app that gets accepted to Exporter Hub. Basically that's an easy way into the Exporter Hub, to say so. Okay. So this was the Explorer. Now let's get through with the Data NFT SDK, which can be used, as Mark also said, to build tons of stuff using the Data NFTs. And what we're going to do is we're going to look through the documentation itself. No need to go through all the code for now. So basically, in the Data NFT SDK, there's multiple classes. What we care most about right now is the classes. What you should know is that this documentation will always be up to date because it's automatically generated whenever we push something new. And some of the most important classes that you have here is obviously the Data NFT class, which basically has everything you would need in order to use data NFTs. If you want the data NFTs, you can use the constructor to create it. So you can basically create a new data NFT by giving out all these, or you can also use the create from API, or you can use the create from API response bulk. This to basically fetch your NFTs. For example, let's look at the create from API. Here, at the for the create from API method, you have to give it a nonce and a token identifier. So basically, if I were to want to fetch this NFT, I would in the token identifier parameter, I would put this, and in the nonce parameter, I would put 4. And what this would do is it would automatically fetch the NFT properties from the Multiverse X blockchain, then decode the properties and create for you an NFT that has all these properties. You also have two methods that you can use that are, I'd say, pretty cool. That is view data and view data via MVX native auth. If you use view data, that basically means that you have to send these parameters, but in order to use it, you have to have the user sign a message in order to be able to view that data. So the easiest way to do it, in my opinion, in most apps, unless you have a very specific use case, is using view data via MVX native auth. because in this way you just have to send the native auth token, which the native auth token can be easily obtained, as some of you may know, can be easily obtained one sec. Basically, just by using the dApp provider, there's a switch that you can use at login. Here, we're basically giving out some native auth props, which, if present, make it so that when the user logs in, a native auth token is created, so that we can then use that token for the user to view the data. So 1 second, so I, not in the files, but searching for a quick view data. One second. Not in home, but this was in. Okay. So basically, I can, whenever I want to view the data.
Is the token login props from Multiverse X?
Yeah, but is it? Yeah, I'll search for token login. That's smarter. Yeah. So just when using SDK dApp, I can just use get login info, and this token login can then be used to get the native auth. So here I put the header to be the native auth token from token login. And that's basically kind of a pre-signed token using different parameters that one can use in order to verify the identity of an address. If you need it, we can give more details about how it works, in the sense that we can send the Multiverse X docs in it. But yeah, so this is pretty much the Data NFT class. We also have the Data NFT market class, which you can easily use to interact with our contracts, with our marketplace contract. You have different methods, such as accept offer with T-Gold, accept offer with ESDT, accept offer with no payment. You can put stuff for free on the marketplace. If you want to accept the offer, you can add an offer, cancel an offer, change the offer price. For a specific address, you can view what they listed, what offers they have. Basically, anything you want to do with the contract, don't bother implementing it yourself. Just use the SDK. In a nutshell, some would say it's bad, but I think this is one of the cool things about it. It's non-opinionated, in the sense that it's working with any type of Multiverse X packages. So what's happening if I use accept offer with ESDTs? I give the parameters, and it's returning me a transaction. It's returning me a transaction object. If I'm on a backend server, I can just sign it with my internal wallet or whatever and send it. If I'm using SDK dApp for a front end or some thing for the front end, I can put that transaction into whatever provider I'm using and send it forward. It's your choice how you get to sign this transaction and send it to the blockchain. You just get the transaction ready to go. Then we also have the SFT minter, which this SFT minter is basically what you use in order to interact with what you interact when you press mint here. Because here, what we have are actually SFTs, because you can see balance 98, total supply 99. It's got more than one supply, so it's an SFT. And basically, with this contract, what you can do is you can burn them. If you have the rights for it, you can freeze them. You can mint more. you can view the requirements to mint one, you can view if the contract is paused, stuff like that. If you also have the NFT minter with which you can interact, which is basically the minter from Enterprise. If you have deployed the minter using Enterprise, you can use this class in order to interact with your minter, which has different methods that you can use. Claim royalties to get your royalties, all of this. We won't go through all of them.
It can be also available on our GitHub on the Enterprise page.
We'll get to the Enterprise SDK itself in a moment. But yeah, in a nutshell, these are the most important things. So when you open the docs page for the SDK, don't get lost in everything that's available here. Sure, all the details are auto-generated, but the most important things to understand are Data NFT to view your NFTs, market to interact with the marketplace, SFT minter to interact with the common minter, NFT minter if you want to interact with the enterprise NFT minter. Also, this one minter is just an abstract interface over NFT minter and SFT minter. So don't bother too much with it. It's pretty much, I'd say, internal for us to have some common code between them. All right, this is for the SDK. And as a note, because the Data Explorer uses SDK pretty much wherever it can. But right now we're in the process of transitioning the data decks to use the SDK in as many places as possible. So we also use it. So basically we have to maintain it. But the Data NFT SDK is not used in all the possible places in the data decks yet, because the data decks has appeared before the SDK has existed. So we had to do it manually at some point. All right, this is one. Now the other one is the Enterprise SDK, which basically this is used simply to interact with the factory, which allows you to deploy a contract this allows you to set all the things that you have seen in that interface, in the sense that you can enable or disable whitelist, get the contract address, you can initialize the contract, set the treasury address, view different stuff, all that. That's one thing. And one more thing that I want to show you besides this is the Marshal SDK. Okay, so there is also a Marshal SDK. So if you don't want all the data NFT stuff, you just want to interact with the Marshal. The Marshal used to view data. If you want to do that, you basically you can use the data Marshal, and you have just two methods here. You have the checkup time, which is basically what is used here. If I go to the marketplace and say I want to buy something, it's this. The checkup time is basically used to see if the data is still there or the creator has basically run. And as an interesting story, a funny one now, not so funny when it happened, is that when we went to X Day at the Parliament, for some reason, on the Parliament Wi-Fi, this was not working. So we had a shock, because we thought, what's happening, that all the data NFTs are down, but it was the Parliament Wi-Fi having some weird security things that basically blocked the checks we were doing. I think they had something like not allowing to receive data from domains that are newer than 6 months or 12 months or something like this. So basically these are all failing. So while we were at X Day, we had to, on the spot, code some fix to get over this. Yeah, basically. As said, we're not able to view IPFS URLs as well. Yes. lots of people had issues with dApps while on the Parliament Wi-Fi. So yeah. The other one is encrypt data stream that you have. So basically what happens is that if I go here and I want to advertise data, if I put a link here, this doesn't go directly into the smart contract, but first it goes to the Marshal, it gets encrypted. So someone that knows a bit of blockchain stuff can't easily access it because it's encrypted. And then that encrypted data stream gets put into the NFT. So yeah, that's pretty much just what you do with the Data Marshal SDK. And these are, I'd say, the SDK tools that are available along with the UI ones. I'll also talk about what some suggestions that we have when it comes to data stream and data storage tools. But before that, do you have any questions or anything that you think is, I don't know, particular interest to you, any curiosity, anything like this? Okay.
Maybe one question.
Yeah.
The data minter, the NFT minters for enterprise, can they manage multiple data collections or just one? And do I need to deploy one minter for each collection that I want to deploy?
Yeah, it's one minter for each collection. When we built it, we have actually thought, shouldn't one minter have multiple collections? But we have realized that besides the fact that it complicates the design of it a lot, an issue with doing that would be that for most people, it's more convenient to have them separately just because they receive royalties separately. And it's an easy way to do accounting because, at least considering it's for enterprise, usually they want to have a clear and easy way of seeing, okay, where did this money come from? And if it all jumps in one contract, I think you know, Misha, that there's no it's hard to see on the Explorer when you get royalties in because you can't activate any function when the royalties are coming in. So
yeah, makes sense.
So basically, we wanted to have them separated so that you know clearly this money is coming from this collection, this from this.
Yeah, makes sense. And maybe another question. Something I still need to grasp is like, what are data vaults technically? Are they just collections with different data NFTs in it, or like what is it, a data vault in a technical sense?
Yeah, I can take that, man. Yeah, so they're basically Itheum Enterprise collections. So you can launch an Itheum Enterprise collection, put it in soulbound mode, which is the way it cannot be tradable, and then it behaves like a data vault. And then you can, because Itheum Enterprise lets you like whitelist a specific address where you can transfer it. So maybe you can have like an escrow contract where you can keep it in case you need to do any controlled transferability. So that's part one. Part two is something Ovidio is going to show soon is if you have a data vault, you don't want to store that data anywhere in public, right? You need to maybe privately store that in your Google Drive or something like that. So we're working on a storage solution that lets you kind of connect a private data storage to a data vault configured collection. And then you can only put your private stuff in there and, you know, lock it in there for whatever reason.
So it's just like technically a collection, or is there in addition also metadata that can be attached, like a cover that's then shown on the data decks? Does it make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, we don't see it to be tradable on the data decks. It'll be a different dynamic. Like Gamer Passport, something we are going to launch soon, right? That's a data vault. I'm going to put my gaming data in it, but this is where the DAOs come in. So the only thing I can do with my data vault is like delegate it to a data coalition DAO, which then can use it to like pull some insights from it and then pay me for that. But it wouldn't be fully tradable. We don't actually see it fully tradable because it's usually fully personal data, man. So I think that's the
No, the reason I was asking is for ways on how this can be visualized to the user, like as a data vault, like how can I visualize it, or where can a user see their data vaults, for example? That's the background why I was asking.
Yeah, It would be in the data decks, so they can actually go in and interact with the data vault in the data decks.
Got you. Awesome. Yeah, I think that clarifies it.
Cool. What we do? Let's maybe. I think we are running out of time, so maybe we'll do the quick Z storage and data streams demo.
Yeah, I think we had time until 3:30, 20 more minutes in theory, but let's do it fast so we can do it, and then we'll see. Okay, so if you want to easily store data, you can use zstorage.com, which is an app built by Zedge Horizon, which is close to Itheum, in which you can log in with whatever you want, and basically you can either update a previously stored data asset, or you can store a new data asset. And you can, for now this is coming soon, but you choose a dynamic data storage, and you can choose if you want a specific Trailblazer, you can do it. If you want a music data NFT, you can do it. You can just upload random files, and that's still fine. And you can do it. You choose whichever you want. For example, if you want a music data NFT, for now we only have Web3 storage. Centralized Web2 storage on AVS probably is coming too. And here is the options that are going to come at some point. And what I can tell you is that DNS plus IPFS is basically you have your own domain, and you make that domain point to an IPFS CID. But very soon we'll also have here IPNS plus IPFS. Does any of you know about IPNS and how it works? All right, even if yes or no, I'll shortly explain it. Basically, IPNS is a layer on top of IPFS, which basically allows you to have mutable data on IPFS. Basically, you create a hash, and you can make that hash point to different CIDs. And for example, you could use that hash and put that hash in the NFT itself instead of putting the CID, so that you can change the image, or you could change the attributes or stuff like that. And this is what we're using to build. Basically, once this is ready, this is going to be very cool, because one can use IPNS without having any domain, without buying a domain, stuff like that. But until then, DNS plus IPFS, and boom, you can just test creator, tester, create it on, modify it on, and I can add a song. If I want to add a song, I put artist name, album name, category, title, and so on. And also, I can put in the song creation date. I can choose the file. I can choose an image for it. All that UI, so that it's easy. All right. Let me see if I have some kind of MP3 file. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, some kind of MP3 file, and I don't know, 1 second. Okay, I've also put in some random file. And now I can save it, saved, and I can upload the data. Okay, and it's kind of done. We have the folder CID, we have the manifest CID, we have the manifest file name, and I can view the stored files, and I can click on update your DNS. And this, when I click on update your DNS, this is basically showing me instructions on what I have to do in order to make my domain point to IPFS, to the IPFS CID. Basically, I have to put a CNAME with the text and the text record with the given details. So yeah, that's on short. That's on short Zedge storage that you can use. It's not mandatory to use it, obviously. It's just that it's an easy way to store stuff, because in the beginning, whenever we were talking to someone and they wanted the data stream, the first question is, okay, but where do I store the data? And now the answer is here. So I'd say shortly, this is it. I'll also send the link for it in the chat, so you have it. And yeah. And
yeah, cool. Maybe, yeah, guys. So if you want to learn more about the storage, just reach out to us on Telegram. We'll walk you through it. I think we only have like 15 minutes. Thanks, Ovidio, for that quick walkthrough. So maybe in the last 15 minutes, guys, do you have anything, any questions and any like certain topics you want to deep dive, and then we can have a follow-on discussion on Telegram.
Hello, everyone. Yes, Thomas from Galileo. I have a specific technical question about the Data Marshal API regarding the size, the maximum size of the data stream, because I recall during the hackathon encountering a limitation. The maximum was at 4 or 5 megabytes. Maybe we have a big amount of data to stream through the Data Marshal. So did you plan, or did you already have up the size of the maximum limitation?
Yeah, so two things, Thomas. So the first one is we resolved that issue. So the new Data Marshal doesn't have a fixed limit. You can have like for example, the music file that Ovidio showed, that's like quite large. So it works. But if you have a lot of data, man, you have to use nested streams. And what you can do is you can implement pagination, you know, like you can do page 1, page 2, page 3, and you can do that with nested streams. So if you guys want to talk about this, we can help you. It's already all available. So if you have big bulk data, you can use just one data stream. But if you have like maybe like big data, man, and you want to like do pagination, you can use nested streams. All of this is already available, and we can help you with it.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, guys, or comments, or?
Yeah, feel free if there's something else that you guys have in mind. If there's any specific questions, very happy to help. But on that note of what we were talking of storage, you know, we identified that's one big chunk that needs to be solved. So do check out Zedge Storage, and you know, it's a new solution that we've developed in order to make update as well as storage of your data easy. It's a work in progress.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, Mark.
Interestingly, so Zedge Storage is only if you want dynamic decentralized storage. You might not necessarily want this. Like we are working with one project now. They are happy to have it as a web server. So they are launching a collection, and they have a single web server that's going to dynamically stream data based on the collection NFT ID. So think of it as if you had NFT ID 1, when you open view data, their server can read NFT ID 1 and like stream out something personal for you. So they are using just Web 2 like web server, and they use a native auth to protect that web server. So even if it's public, nobody can access it. They have to go through the data NFT. We have a guide on this. So if you guys want to host a web server that is powering your entire data NFT collection, which I'm guessing most of you probably want to do. I don't think you want to put everything on IPFS because it's quite complicated and slow and all of that. We can help with that. So they say you can have a Web 2 web server that's protected with native auth powered by data NFT collection. Or if you want to have fully decentralized, you can put it on Zedge Storage powered by data NFTs as well. So think about it, guys. Like whichever is most suited for you, we can help you out with it.
Awesome. Misha, as you're here, buddy, do you want to quickly touch base on the data marshal question that you had? I think it was the deputy feature. Mark is here, he can quickly touch base on that.
Yeah, I think I've seen it, or we've talked a lot about it in the past. It is basically about how can data NFTs be unlocked if they are inside or if they're owned by a smart contract, right? So right now you would have to use your own wallet to sign and get access to the data NFT. And the whole conversation was about like, how can a smart contract unlock it?
Yeah, Misha, we spoke about this. We have a ticket in our backlog that's going to be either this sprint or next sprint that lets you put a deputy. So a deputy is a smart contract that you have like delegated to. So if your data NFT is in your wallet, you can open it. But if you delegate it and you put it in a smart contract and that's a deputy, it can open it. So it will probably, because this feature is going to be useful for data coalition DAOs or even staking contracts where you can stake data NFTs into.
For sure, yeah. Looking forward to this.
Yeah.
Cool. Just checking in, Jean, if your questions are all covered. In the Notion doc, you had mentioned 3-4 questions. Is there anything else which is left that you want us to touch base on?
Jean looks like he's frozen. Or
I'm
are you
frozen.
there? It looks like him.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, but my video stream is frozen. Okay. We were discussing this on the background with Satish. Most of the questions were answered, and I think following your I think we will come back to you on the Telegram in order to clarify a few different matters in order to be straight to the point.
Cool. If you need it, guys, you can reach out on Telegram, and obviously, if at any point like we feel it's a question that is opinionated and needs more explanations than just in text, we can jump on calls and stuff, and we will help you as much as we need. We'll just need to find some space when, for example, I'm available and you are as well. But we're very much willing to help. I've seen that through your questions, there were things like, let me see real quick. If you should use a smart contract after minting to add a description, but basically how do you connect that smart contract to the dApp? Well, for that, for example, that's the best way to do it is probably to talk to you about it is probably a 10-minute call in which I show you some code examples in which we use a smart contract and connect it to a dApp, and basically you can steal the code and then adapt it to whatever smart contract you would like to use on your own, for example.
Yes, exactly. This is what we were right now discussing about. In order to tweak this description and in order to make it upgradable by the creator. So maybe we'll have a basic description and then a kind of handy description made afterwards and upgradable. Okay.
All right, cool. Let me check so I don't speak nonsense, but if I remember well, I think for the enterprise collection, you have out of the box the possibility to update the attributes. Yes. So if you use an Itheum Enterprise, then out of the box, you have the option to update the attributes and thus update the description itself. But that's just for Itheum Enterprise because those are NFTs, not SFTs. So basically how it works is that the NFT would be sent to the smart contract and the smart contract would update the description. But that's doable, but just for enterprise.
Yeah, indeed. This is why we were thinking that enterprise NFTs could be very neat, but we were thinking about making SFTs to allow creators to share more easily their creation. So yeah.
I think we can find the solution. We can find the solution. We can find some hacks for you to be able to do that. Like if someone wants to create, I don't know, five enterprise NFTs of the same type, we could help you create a way in which they send 5 transactions at the same time with the same data, so that 5 almost identical NFTs are created. And then they would be able to share them separately, for example.
Okay, we'll have to look into that and take 10 minutes, as you said, on the side in order to evaluate possibilities here.
Yeah, we'll deep dive into it, Noel, and we'll find a solution.
Cool, guys. So 2 last updates before we wrap up this call. We're going to open up, we want to help you develop the tech, right? So we're there. Of course, if you need any one-on-one guidance, reach out to us. I'll help you connect, with Damien, just set up a call. Let's go specific, where we are stuck, and we'll try and figure out solutions to it. Secondly, we also have a knowledge session that's going to pop up probably the coming Thursday, but I'm going to share the exact details shortly via your calendars to block some time. And we're inviting someone from the MVX team just to come and talk about the larger ecosystem as well. So if there are any specific questions, do let us know, and we'll be very happy to accommodate them in the next week's tech MVX session.
Can we let them know who's coming from the MVX team or not yet?
Yeah, go ahead, man. You can do that reveal.
So if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, Zain, but if I remember correctly, what we're calling talk is Robert Sasso.
Yes.
Which is cool because he's one of their lead architects, and if there's one person that will argue about the Multiverse X architecture and can tell you anything about it, it's him. The guy is super smart, so make sure to tune in on it.
It's just a disclaimer, guys. It's 80% confirmed. He's like a very busy guy, but we're trying to get him. And so if you have any questions, come and he's the guy, man. Very smart chap.